Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be discussing mental health stuff, and I needed to do a video because the short was way too short. So essentially, I just was saying in the short that mental health has been like the worst that it's ever been, and I think it's extremely important for us to, be aware of that. And honestly, if you know it's very dangerous because hurt people, right? No excuse for it though. um but it's such a dangerous thing because no one, I mean, the government really, I mean, the US really doesn't care about mental health, right? um I mean, therapists don't get paid great. There's all these things promoting us to hurt ourselves and all this other stuff, and that's because, well, the people at the top want to easily control us, keep us stuck, so we never find liberation and learn how to love ourselves, essentially. So they do anything but promote mental health, because, well, unfortunately, a lot of people in the highest positions in the country are people who operate out of fear and pain, and a lot of these people, they cheated their way to the top. Like, they took from whoever they needed to get to the top, and they didn't care because they experienced so much pain in their childhood that they lack empathy, so they don't care. um which is not great. It's horrible. So of course, like, they're not going to care about like getting their power through controlling people or instilling fear in people so they can feel this false sense of power, right? Um yeah, and for some people, false power matters much more to them than having loving, fulfilling connections in their life. It kind of just depends on how they're built. Um so yeah, so I'm essentially, making this message just to like kind of talk about it because yeah, I don't know. I just saw Jacksepticeye post like that, like he had like the worst year of his life or something, and I just wanted to talk about that because, like, yeah, it's a very dangerous thing, having all that trauma passed down in families. Like, for example, I came from a family where my parents came from a very horrible, 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 horrible childhood. Like, horrible, awful. Um, so, of course, that made them lack empathy. They didn't know how to love. They were never given it, they never learned it, it never was inside them naturally. So, what does that mean? That meant that they just repeated what their parents did. So they just had kids to use them, exploit them, and they thought that was acceptable. And they were like, well, I'm bitter, and I mean, my parents did it to me, so I should be allowed to do it to you. And it's like, that's not how that works. So, and the only reason I was able to not become a bitter person, I became better instead of bitter, was because I was the healer of my family. I've naturally always been very loving towards people and compassionate. It never was in my nature to hurt people. So when I was taught the ways of like how to, it sounds so bad, but it's true. It's the type of family it came from. When I was taught like how to hurt people to get what you want, it felt so unnatural for me. It felt horrible. It was not aligned with who I was. It wasn't. It's like, my father was trying to mold me to be this person I wasn't. And yeah. So, yeah, so it wasn't me. And I mean, it cost me losing a very close relationship with a family member. And that made me never want to do that again, because I literally like had like a vision, because I have spiritual gifts and stuff, about like, I just envisioned me just being in a nursing room a nursing home room, like about to die and nobody there. Like I literally was like I literally like had like an epiphany type of like I had a wake up call. I was like, wow, I'm literally going to die alone if I keep being selfish and hurting people to get what I need and not care about them. I literally will die alone. I will not have important, valuable relationships. And for what? For this stupid false sense of power that sucks? That's cheap? That's horrible? Versus what's actually meaningful, which is love and people and keeping my loved ones in my life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because I never really wanted to hurt people during that time. Like, I was so young. I experienced so much trauma already that I was just filled with like darkness and I literally couldn't think straight. I don't even remember things from that time because my brain's blocking it out because it was like that traumatic. Like, it's, yeah, but no, when I lost my sister and, she stopped talking to me and she set boundaries, as she should have back then, I realized, wow, okay, yeah, that's not worth it. That's not worth it. So, because I didn't have the ability to love myself back then during that time where, I was, playing this scary role that like isn't actually who I am as a person. I decided in that moment then and there that I was going to stop doing that. That I was no longer like going to be that type of person. And then I took steps to become a better person. And the first step with that was to, unfortunately, I went the way of like, well, I really don't want to hurt people, so I guess I'm just going to sacrifice myself instead. And whatever happens to me, happens to me. And unfortunately, it was more in like a victim kind of mindset of like, oh yeah, I deserve this, which don't do that. Don't hurt yourself. Don't sacrifice yourself for people either. But in my family, that's what was taught as like, what love was sacrificing yourself, which frankly was a part of the way to like manipulate their kids. Me, I was a kid. I was one of their kids. Manipulate their kids into giving them all their energy because, my parents, they were energy vampires. They couldn't create anything. So they just exploited their kids, used them, harvest all their energy. But yeah, in my family, essentially, I was like, oh, okay, so I'm either the abuser or the victim. Okay, got it. Okay, so clearly I don't want to be the abuser role, so I'm going to just be the victim, and I'm just going to, sacrifice myself, because that's what love is. And then I realized, like, later down the line, when I learned how to love myself, I realized, oh, sacrificing yourself is not the way to go. No, it's not. Like, frankly, I just learned that lesson, like, in, like, the last 6 months. And I'm talking about a time period when I was, like, 15. When I was 15, I had that whole experience of deciding never to be in the abuser role ever again. Yeah, and I don't know, in my family, like, I mean, I was taught by my father that being a loving person and kind is weak, and I was like, well, I can't do this other role, so I'm just gonna sacrifice myself because I deserve it, which is not good. Yeah, I'm kind of repeating myself here, but, a little tired, so I'm trying to figure out my words here. But, yeah, but then over time I learned, like, well, I got into a bad relationship with a guy where I was very sacrificial, and then I learned how to love myself through that toxic relationship. And then I broke up with him. I really took a step away from dating for a long time. Healed myself a lot. Then I moved out of my house, and then I realized that my mother and father were the problem, not just my father, my mother too. I figured out she was very manipulative, and she was equally as bad as my father. And then I moved out, so and then I was finally able to start healing after I moved out of that environment, and moving out was honestly the most terrifying thing I've ever experienced in my life. Yeah, so yeah, and I don't know they're gonna see this. I frankly don't care. Um, just know that, I have gotten the police involved. If you are my parents, I have gotten the police involved. And, if you weren't taking me seriously before because I'm your daughter, I would start taking me seriously. Unless you want me to get a restraining order, we can do that. But I mean, that would be kind of a dumb decision if you guys want to keep your careers. So I would recommend you guys leave me alone. Yeah, so that was just a side message for them because, my parents are psychotic. So, uh, yeah. So yeah, main thing with mental health. A lot of people are hurting. A lot of people are in pain. If someone doesn't care about hurting you, it's probably because they're so damaged to a point where, it cannot be fixed unless they want to fix it. And for a lot of people, love is not that important to them. They would rather choose false power and money, and the greedy slash easy looking option, which ultimately is not the easy option. It's the option that gets yourself 5 feet deep in a hole. Makes you extremely lonely at the end of your life. You may have a little bit of money, but eventually it's taken away because it's all temporary. Yeah, because love is the only sort of longevity sort of thing you can get, and it's, love's the only option, really. Unless, you want to be miserable and greedy. But, is it really worth being isolated and not ever feeling love? I don't think so. No. In my opinion, no. That's why I stopped being that way, because I realized, wow, that's really not me, and I never want to do that again. Because I love people too much to be like that. Because I'm literally, a part of my purpose here is helping heal the collective, so yeah, so that one, it was the exact opposite of what my purpose is, so yeah, thank God. Thank God I had that internal compass of fuck no. But yeah, no, but if other people don't have that, then yeah, they do end up being that way forever, bitter, not caring about people, taking what they need, and yeah, it's just sad. It's just sad. And then that's dangerous for other people, because then that makes people who are suicidal, fully go through with that, and it's oh my God. So if you're going through something right now, just, I know this is really hard, I don't know, I don't know, the way I at least got through it, when I was in it, it was really hard, but, when I got out of it, I just learned not to take it so personally, if people don't care about hurting you, I hope this isn't bad advice, but, just don't take it personally. Just know that they're a very fucking damaged individual. Their brain literally is their brain is, literally damaged. Psychologically, they're fucked. Has nothing to do with you. It just means they literally lack empathy. Has nothing to do with you. It just means that they were traumatized so much to the point in childhood where it was unrecoverable and they didn't want to heal, and they just decided to become bitter instead. And it has nothing to do with you. They would have done that to anyone. Has nothing to do with how worthy you are, how valuable they are, or how valuable you are. It's kind of just, these people hate themselves so much that all they can do is just hurt others, which is them hurting themselves essentially, because you treat others how you treat yourself. Oh, my light is flickering. That's crazy. But, yeah, so, just, I know, and that's probably the last thing you want to hear right now. Don't take it personally. Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, especially if your own parents do that and you're still in the household with them. How can you not take that personally? Right? The people who literally birthed you. But the thing is, it really isn't personal. Frankly, if your parents are psychotic like that and they literally lack empathy to that extent where they don't care if they hurt children to get what they need, it's really nothing personal. That's just who they are. They view their kids as extensions of themselves. They view their kids like their possessions. In my case, my parents were narcissists. Yeah. And when both your parents are narcissists in a loveless home, fuck. Luckily, I was the love in my home. But if I wasn't, yeah, I probably would have ended up being a very bitter person. And very not nice. Yeah. So I'm glad I'm a very loving person. So that didn't happen. Um, but yeah, and then I had a whole other plethora of things to deal with, like my parents trying to control me, trying to keep me stuck, financially abusing me, the whole 9 yards. Very scary. Very, very, very scary. When people who are like kidnappers have you as their child, uh, that sucks. Because they literally make it near impossible for you to leave your abusive situation you're in with them. And they try tricking you into thinking, oh yeah, you can't get up, you can never do this without us, and quite literally that is abusive 101. So yeah, they were trying to abuse their power over me as being in a parental figure, but the thing is that didn't work because I just applied for risk of homelessness, escaped my household, and now I'm chilling. And now I need to talk to the police about them. But yeah, so I try not taking it personally because I realize they never. I mean, my parents were incapable of loving anyone. Like, what do you do? What do you do when your parents experience that, like, the extent of trauma they did, and quite literally they do not know how to love anybody, and they don't know how to love themselves. All they know is hate. You know what I mean? Like, if you can, try to not take it personally. And just know that you are very lovable. There is nothing wrong with you. There was nothing ever wrong with you. It's just you came from a very broken household. That has nothing to do with you. It has to do with all these people being in, like, extreme levels of survival mode, and people being hurt to the point where they don't have empathy. And that is why that's so scary. And that's why there's all these evil people who just hurt people because they don't care. Because all these people are experiencing intense trauma and pain. Well, because no one takes care of anybody's mental health. Nobody's loving, nobody's, like, you know what I mean? And quite literally, healing your mental health is the gateway to learning how to love yourself. And of course, the scary people at the top, they don't want you to learn how to do that so they can control you. And yeah, just that kind of just ties into it. And then the people on the ground who are hurting you, that's also a form of control. So people can, take advantage of you and use you and try to cheat the system without putting in their own work to learn how to love themselves. And it's just a mess. It's just a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. So, you know what? If you're out in the world, please choose to be kind. Please choose to be kind. You don't know what the hell people are going through. And yes, people do consider kindness a weakness if they lack empathy, unfortunately, and they've been hurt in their lives and they've just settled. But yeah, try not taking that personally either. Just don't give your love to that person. Just cut them off. Just be more conscious of who you're giving that love and care to, so you don't get hurt or stabbed in the back because the person, they weren't even ready to receive that type of love and they don't know how to appreciate it. That doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, don't let that close you off. Don't let that make you bitter. Just be more discerning. Be more careful with who you're loving to and who you're caring with. If you can help it, don't let the world make you go cold, because really what we need right now is kind people. And yeah, when you're a kind person, you need to be very careful. I mean, yeah, I help people all the time with like I'm kind to people because I know what it's like to literally experience the worst of life. Like, I lived in a loveless household. Like, I know what it's like to not be loved. Like, so I know what it's like to be through hell and back. I know all the rules of the fucking table. I know being on this side. I know being on that side. I know being on the healthy spectrum. Now I'm healthy. So now I'm a healthy mix of, can stand up for myself, boundaries, and also I know how to be loving when it's safe. I think that's the perfect combination you need to reach. Not overly sacrificial, but not overly, I'm gonna hurt you to get revenge. You know what I mean? Like a good a good middle ground where there's not an excess on either side of that. So yeah, hope this helps someone. I don't know if this made sense. If it didn't, I am sorry. I'm very tired. I got ADHD too, so yeah, and I love that about me, and I wouldn't change that for the world. So yeah. Anyways, you are lovable. Do not let other people's actions towards you affect your worth or your value. That doesn't mean anything about you. That just however they treat you says a lot about them, nothing about you. Yeah. And the quicker you learn to love yourself, the better, because then you'll attract people who will treat you right. And I know it's so hard coming from a household where, like, people were never loving to you, so it's kind of like, how the hell do you learn to love yourself then? You need to face all your inner demons, move out, go to therapy, find a way to escape your abusive parents, get help, talk to a lot of government places that help kids who are at risk of homelessness, and SNAP benefits, and like MNsure. Like, there's programs out there to help you. There are programs, so take advantage of those, because that's the route I went is I needed to contact a lot of professionals to help me, and it worked. And it also has a lot to do with not doubting yourself either, because the thing about abusive, controlling people and narcissists, that's the way my parents were, is they're gonna try making you doubt yourself so you stay, so they can keep using you and keep taking advantage of you. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's a predatory tactic. They're trying to make you doubt your capabilities of, like, for example, moving out. They're going to try making you think that you're incapable of doing that because they need you. They're not going to say that last part, but they're really going to act like you're really stupid, like you can't do anything, because they're projecting, because they need you. They are codependent on you because they don't know how to create anything for themselves. And guess what? That's not your goddamn issue. Move the fuck out. Protect yourself. Never talk to the scary, mean people who just had you to exploit you. And yes, that is a very harsh truth to hear, but, if your parents treat you like that, they do not fucking care. They do not fucking care. They did not have children for the correct reasons. I'm sorry, that's just the truth. That doesn't mean you're not lovable. It just means that your parents did not deserve you as their child. You deserve loving parents. They never deserved to have you as their child. And they failed. As parents, they failed. So, that's all that means. And yeah, so just know you're lovable, you're worthy. There are gonna be people who love you, but you first gotta learn how to love yourself first, even though that's a very hard thing to do. Yeah, best route to go is don't take things personally, view it from a higher perspective. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's the world's fault. It's the world's fault that people hurt you as bad as they did. It's not your fault. It's not your fault.